People on the internet are acting confused, shocked, and dramatic again, and this time it is all happening around Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. Everywhere you look, people are suddenly talking like Ariana needs to be saved, protected, rescued, or dragged away from Cynthia as if something dangerous is happening. The comment sections are filled with intense opinions, quick judgments, and a lot of theories that came out of nowhere. And the most surprising part is that none of this even started with Ariana. It all started because her brother, Frankie Grande, showed love and support for the two of them in the most emotional way. Frankie was cheering them on during their Defying Gravity performance at the Oscars, calling it a huge moment, calling it the gay Super Bowl, and being proud of them like any supportive brother would be. Frankie has always celebrated Ariana's friendships, especially the ones that help her grow, and he has shared so many posts showing he is happy for her bond with Cynthia. Yet, people twisted all of this into something darker, as if his support was a warning sign instead of a moment of joy. The internet took one emotional moment, added dramatic music, and suddenly Cynthia was trending as controlling, like it was a confirmed fact. That theme then spread everywhere. People treated a single TikTok edit like it was a full documentary proving something is wrong. But the truth is far from that, and people who know Ariana best, like Frankie, are clearly not worried at all. It is only the viewers online, scrolling through short clips with no context, who are building massive stories in their minds. This type of reaction says more about the audience than it does about Ariana or Cynthia. What most people forget is that Ariana and Cynthia have been extremely close throughout the Wicked journey. They have been side by side in almost every interview, every red carpet moment, and every public appearance for the last year and a half. Whenever Ariana turns left, Cynthia's already there. Whenever Cynthia moves forward, Ariana is right with her. It's a friendship that has grown naturally through long hours of filming, learning music together, performing huge scenes, and sharing emotional moments that come with working on such a giant project. They have shared poems, quotes, aura colors, and moments of deep care that fans either romanticize or criticize depending on the day. Some fans turn their bond into a romance story, while others twist it into something dark and controlling. Both reactions ignore the most simple explanation. These two women built a meaningful friendship during the hardest work of their careers. People love showing the clip where Cynthia steps in when Ariana looks even slightly uncomfortable. Cynthia leans forward to handle the situation before it becomes stressful. Some people online call that control. But anyone who has ever cared for a friend with anxiety or pressure knows that this behavior comes from instinct and protection, not power. Ariana has spoken many times about her struggles in anxious or overwhelming settings, especially when cameras are flashing and questions are thrown at her. Cynthia knows this. She has worked with Ariana for years now. She can likely read Ariana's face, her body language, her stress levels. So when Cynthia steps in, it might not be about controlling anything. It might simply be about helping someone who feels safer with her around. But the internet rarely chooses the gentle explanation. The internet always wants the dramatic one. Another thing people keep pointing out is how quiet Ariana becomes when Cynthia is beside her. In many interviews, Ariana lets Cynthia speak first. Ariana listens more, she stays close. Cynthia leads the way in those moments, and people think it means Ariana has no voice. But what if it simply means she feels comfortable? What if she trusts Cynthia to take the lead in situations that feel overwhelming? People forget that feeling safe is not the same as feeling controlled. Many friendships have one person who talks more and one person who listens more. Many friendships have one person who steps forward when the other person is shy or anxious. But online, people have turned this into a red flag checklist. This need to diagnose everything is becoming common. Whenever two women are very close, the internet jumps straight into overthinking mode. They start searching for signs, patterns, and tiny clips to turn into giant theories. They treat friendship like a mystery they need to solve. It's almost like people cannot accept emotional closeness unless it fits into a category they understand. So instead of calling it friendship, they call it danger. Instead of calling it loyalty, they call it control. Instead of calling it support, they call it dependence. And things get even more complicated when we consider who Cynthia is. Before anyone claimed she was controlling, Cynthia was respected throughout the entire Broadway world. She has a Tony, a Grammy, and an Emmy. She has been honored for her acting, her voice, her writing, and her contributions to theater. She co-produced a Tony-nominated play and even hosted the Tony Awards. No one called her controlling during any of this. No one called her possessive. No one questioned her leadership. But now that she is close to Ariana Grande, suddenly her confidence is a problem. Suddenly her strong personality is suspicious. This shift says a lot about how people treat Black women in power. When a Black woman shows strength, assertiveness, or leadership, some people immediately translate those qualities as aggression or control. The same behavior that is seen as loyal, protective, or caring in other women becomes intimidating when Cynthia does it. The double standards are loud, even when people pretend they don't exist. The internet is quick to praise vulnerability in some women and criticize it in others. So when Cynthia steps in to help Ariana, people call it control. When someone else would do it, they would call it friendship. There's also something deeper happening online that many people don't want to admit. When someone sees a bond that looks safer, healthier, or more supportive than the relationships they have experienced, it can trigger confusing feelings. Some people are not used to seeing natural, instinctive support. Some people are so used to unhealthy friendships that a healthy one looks suspicious. They project their own past experiences onto the celebrities they watch, and then they act like their projection is the truth. They call care control because they don't know what deep friendship without conditions looks like. Then we look at the part of the story where Ariana and Cynthia skipped parts of the press run. Cynthia lost her voice and couldn't do interviews, so Ariana chose not to do them either. She stayed home in solidarity. She didn't want to sit alone in interviews while her co-star was recovering. Many fans saw this as loyalty. But the internet also twisted this moment into a conspiracy. Some comments claimed Cynthia forced Ariana to stay home, as if Ariana can't make her own decisions. But this way of thinking removes Ariana's agency completely. Ariana is not a child. She is not weak. She knows what press cycles are like. She has been in the industry for years. If she decided to step back because she wanted to support Cynthia, that should be respected. But online, the simplest explanation is never enough. People are also talking about Ariana possibly canceling her 2026 tour because she's sick and overwhelmed. Instead of understanding that health comes first, some comments twisted this into more theories about control. But this only proves how far people are willing to stretch a narrative. If Ariana does anything at all, people treat it as proof for whatever story they want to believe. The comment sections under all of these discussions show two very different types of people. One side thinks Cynthia is manipulating everything. The other sees two women who rely on each other during a stressful time. And between these two sides is the truth that no one outside their inner circle actually knows what's going on. People only see small clips, tiny windows into their real lives, and then treat those tiny clips as full evidence. But life is bigger than a few seconds of video. Friendship is bigger than a few interviews. And emotional support cannot be understood by people who refuse to see softness without suspicion. There's another growing theory online that Ariana and Cynthia are trauma bonded. The word is being used everywhere, almost like a joke. People say it any time they see two friends crying, hugging, or comforting each other. This shows how the internet has turned real psychological terms into casual comments. To say someone is trauma bonded without knowing their private life is irresponsible and unfair. Working on a massive movie for over a year can create deep bonds. Spending long hours together, going through emotional scenes, sharing pressure, sharing dreams, and sharing celebratory wins naturally brings people close. That doesn't mean trauma. That means teamwork, passion, and trust. Nobody online actually knows what Ariana is dealing with behind the scenes. Nobody knows what keeps her grounded or what she fears. Nobody knows what gives her comfort during stressful moments. So when people jump to the worst assumptions, they ignore the real possibility that Ariana simply feels understood by Cynthia in a way that brings her peace. Not every strong bond comes from pain. Many strong bonds come from support, understanding, and shared experience. So, as this conversation continues to spread online, one question becomes more important. Is Cynthia controlling Ariana, or are fans controlling the narrative? Because one of those things is definitely happening and might not be the one people expect.